Do you feel it? Can you feel the energy around you at certain places? Some places have good vibes, while others give you goosebumps and make the hair on the back of your neck stand up. These are the most haunted places in America, where the spirits of the dead refuse to move on. First, we have to look at Alcatraz Island in San Francisco, California. This island is home to one of the most famous prisons in history. For over 30 years, it held some of the worst criminals in America. But today, it's just a tourist attraction. People visit from all over the world to learn about this creepy prison, but they don't realize that the island is also said to be haunted by the ghosts of inmates who never left. The Native American tribe that lived on the island long ago called it Alcatraz, meaning pelican. They say that many years ago, a young girl drowned after being separated from her family during a storm. She was never found. To this day, people say that they hear the sound of children crying out for their mothers on stormy nights, but no one has ever seen or heard the ghost of the young girl. At least, no one has been brave enough to come forward. Then, there's the most famous inmate of Alcatraz, Al Capone. He was an American gangster. He was one of the most powerful criminals in the USA during the 1920s and 30s. He made his money mostly on smuggling alcohol during the Prohibition era. He also made his money through violent crimes like murder and extortion. After a decade of living the life of a rich criminal, he was finally arrested. This was not easy, as Capone had bribed his way out of many situations before. But this time, he was caught. He was sentenced to 11 years in federal prison. He served 3 years and 9 months at Alcatraz. It was said that Capone went insane towards the end of his life in prison. He suffered from syphilis, which caused him to go blind and have difficulty speaking. He spent his last days alone in his cell. And, to this day, some believe his spirit still haunts the island, possibly searching for his lost fortune. After Capone, another gangster was sent to Alcatraz, George Kelly Barnes, also known as Machine Gun Kelly. He got his nickname after being pictured holding 2 Thompson submachine guns above his head after a failed bank robbery. He was eventually caught and sentenced to 120 years in prison. While in prison, he became friends with Capone. When Capone died, Barnes took his friend's body to the morgue to pay respects. When Barnes passed away in 1984, it was rumored that his soul stayed behind in Alcatraz. People who work on the island claim that they see the ghost of Barnes walking around the old prison yards. Former inmates say that you can hear the ghost of Marvin the Magician making his escape. In the early 1960s, a magician named Clarence Anglin was sent to Alcatraz. He had committed a serious crime, but he managed to escape the prison twice. After his second escape, he was given a life sentence. He tried to escape again, but this time he was caught. He was put into solitary confinement until his release in 1974. But no one saw him leave the prison. No one knows what happened to him. And some believe he's still stuck inside, trying to escape. Joseph Bowers was also a magician. He performed card tricks for the other inmates to raise their spirits. But when he was caught smuggling a gun into the prison, he was given 15 years for possession of a weapon. He was only in Alcatraz for 4 years before being transferred to another prison. But before leaving, he promised that he would return. He kept his word. He escaped from the other prison and returned to Alcatraz. He was caught almost immediately and served the rest of his sentence in solitary confinement. Inmates say that Bowers then came back again as a ghost to haunt the prison. Thomas Silverstein was an Irish mobster who moved to the U.S. in the 1930s. He joined the Chicago outfit and began working as a hitman. He was wanted for several murders, but he was never caught. That was until 1981, when he was arrested for racketeering. He was sentenced to 60 years in prison, but was only able to serve 10 of them. This was because he was stabbed to death in Alcatraz. His killer was another inmate, Clayton Fountain. He was a member of the Aryan Brotherhood and stabbed Silverstein to death in a gang-related attack. Today, you can visit the spot where Thomas Silverstein was killed, but some say that if you spend too much time here, you may be stabbed by the ghost of the murdered hitman. Many former inmates say that the ghost of D.C. Collins still roams the halls of Alcatraz. Collins was sentenced to 15 years in prison for his role in a series of robberies, but he was later found guilty of murdering a fellow inmate. He was given a life sentence, but he never made it out alive. He was found dead in his cell, a victim of a mysterious heart attack. Some say that Collins didn't have a heart attack. Instead, he was murdered by a fellow inmate. Either way, his ghost is said to still live on inside Alcatraz. Finally, we have to look at perhaps the most haunted prison in the world, Waverly Hills Sanatorium. This is a place where thousands of people died and were buried inside the walls. Before we continue, I want to warn you, do not visit this place if you are scared of the supernatural. People who have visited this place have had many strange experiences. People have had cameras stolen by ghosts, experienced scratches and bites from unseen entities, and even seen entire ghostly processions. The evil is so bad that some of the workers refuse to leave after hours. They stay in the building just in case something happens to them. Then they can fight back against whatever is haunting them. The story of Waverly Hills began in 1910 when the building was first opened. It was meant to be a sanatorium for people suffering from tuberculosis. TB was widespread across the United States at the time. Many people were getting sick and dying from the disease. So the government built this sanatorium to try and stop the spread. The problem was that it didn't work. The disease kept spreading, and the death toll kept rising. By 1927, more than 3,000 people had died at the sanatorium. It was clear that the building was cursed. So it was abandoned. It sat empty for decades until it was decided that it would be turned into a hospital for veterans. This did not help. More people ended up dying in the building. In the 1960s, the hospital was finally closed down, but that didn't mean that the deaths stopped. Even today, it's said that the spirits of those who died in the sanatorium refuse to leave. If you're still watching, I must warn you, do not go to this building. It's illegal and dangerous. The building was declared unsafe in 1994 and has been abandoned since. But despite how dangerous it is, thrill seekers still visit the site. Many of them report seeing ghosts, hearing disembodied voices, and feeling strange presences. It's said that these spirits are angry, and they will attack anyone who enters the building. That's why so many people have had accidents while visiting. Some have been injured while exploring, and others have been bitten or scratched by invisible creatures. What do you think of these places? Do you know any others that should be on this list? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching. Thanks for